been quite a while I didn't put a new content on the channel, and the main reason it's the time factor. Nowadays everyone is busy with his own things, family things, and since I don't gain anything from this, I still need to carry on with other things. But this time I got something quite interesting, I would say. It's not the first time that this happens to me. I've been in through, actually, to be honest, I quite enjoy this kind of situations, because it puts all my experience on challenge, and this is what I really like. So I got this this camera, which is a 5D Mark III, and before receiving this camera, before this camera coming to me, it went to the owner sent it to a repair center. Initially, they thought it might be an issue with the power board, and then they stated that the problem is related with the main board. So probably the owner, I don't know if the repair shop, they had a replacement, might have been too much of a waiting. Anyways, the owner contacted me, and probably he saw some videos on YouTube, and he contacted me and he said if I can carry on to fix this camera. He straight away said that the camera has a main board issue, motherboard issue, so I need to replace it straight away. But based on my experience, I always try to understand what is the main cause of the issue, because in order for a motherboard to fail, it must be something extremely, I don't know, extremely complex, or maybe this is not the right word, especially if these cameras are not experiencing manufacturing issues. So this is a very reliable camera, and if we consider the history of this model, there was no recall or issues issues made by the created by the manufacturing. So most of the time I take this in consideration when there's an issue, or a major issue, something like that, with the camera. And another thing that might happen, that the motherboards fail, because there are other components that tends to fail before the motherboard. So another thing that might fail, might make the motherboard fail, will be a screw that can get loose inside the camera, and that will travel around the motherboard, and it might put some circuits in short. Another factor, it's water contact, but also since the motherboard it's in a safe place, there are other circuit boards that can tend to fail first. Humidity, another factor, or damage impact. These are the major factors that can make fail a camera. This camera has less than 1,000 actuations, so the owner is the first owner, the only owner. So he said that the camera from the beginning, not at the very first he started using the camera, but probably and not long after the camera started behaving strange. It was shutting off, turning on and off randomly, until it got to the point where the camera completely stopped working. And I thought it will be interesting to share with you this journey on attempting, because we don't know if this will be a successful repair. Even if I have all the necessary components to make it work. Will be interesting to see if we are dealing with a faulty motherboard or there is something else. So yeah, before I start to work with the camera, I wanted to ask you a favor. This is a big favor, and what I mean is I will love for you to subscribe to the channel. Considering the analytics, the 95% of the visitors are not subscribed. So my goal will be at least 50. If we can get like 50% of visitors, that would be amazing. That can push me to go and put more content on the channel. Even if I'm trying to, maybe next year I'll be able to manage a bit better this time factor and try to put more regularly content on the channel. Yeah, I would love for you to consider to subscribe to the channel if you find this kind of content something that can help you to understand better what's inside of a camera, or how to maintain or repair your camera, or how to understand different components. Yeah, that would be well appreciated. And also, if you can share this type of content with your friends or someone that you know it might be helpful for him, even if you have other photographers or someone that you know in electronic industry, electricians, or not electronists. So yeah, even electricians, why not? Yeah, that would be really appreciated. That's the only thing I can ask, and I think that's the minimum you could help with. So that being said, let's continue. Let's start debugging this camera and see how it goes. So by making a reading, on the power, adding. So for those who don't know, I have dummy battery, and I have power, which I put power to it, and also I have a reader to see what's the consumption on the what the camera says, what's the communication between the power and the camera. This is the first step I usually do. This is something that it can tell you a lot if there is a short, if there is a not consumption, no power at all. It gives you an idea. If the camera works partially, or it gives you a good understanding on what is happening, what might be wrong, and how it makes you understand what points to touch. Probably I will make a separate video specifically for explaining how I make use of the external power and how the camera usually behaves. A good camera, how a good camera needs to behave, has to behave. and how a damaged camera will behave. In this case, if I add the power, I have a very small reading. I have so when I connect the battery, I get a reading of 0.03, so 0.03 of amp, 0.03 amps, so 3 milliamps. Yeah, probably 3 milliamps, and that's it. Yes, that's nothing. So if you try to push on the buttons to see if something changed in the load, doesn't happen anything. So at this point, first thing I'm about to do, it's obviously checking the DC-DC power unit condition. So I will do that. I have a DC-DC power replacement, so we can do that next. But let's see. As you can see, the condition of the camera, it's like it's brand new. There are no scratches. There is no damage anywhere. It's in really great shape. We have a memory here which is not good. Also, memories has to come out. Just a second, I need to label this memory. So if you take something, if you're about to take some screws out, and you realize those screws are not for the sequence that you're about to make with your camera, it's better if you put the screws back. Otherwise, you will pile up screws unnecessarily, and at a certain point you will be confused with the sequence of the repair. Okay. That's not bad, I must say, for the way someone, there's a bit of broken part here, but that should be fine. I will leave this here for now. I will carry on with disassembling the other points, which next is the bottom cover. In order to reach the power unit, DC power unit, you must do these steps. There's no other way. On all cameras, there are certain steps that you have to follow. Otherwise, you risk to create more damage than repair. At the end, I think I need to take this off. Alright, so this is okay. I'm not going to show because this also number probably I will cancel. I will make that number hidden. That information is the owner information. So now I reach the power. This is the power DC unit. I will try to see what's happening. I will have a look at it, but also I want to look, even if that doesn't seem, the camera is in pristine condition, doesn't look to have any kind of water trace, even though there is something here and here. I don't know if you can see it, just a tiny bit of corrosion, that it's sign of water. You're not gonna believe it, but you know, that can damage your camera. These cameras are not waterproof, weather sealed, so not waterproof. There's a huge difference between weather sealed and waterproof. They have some little seal, rubber seals, for example, a bit of rubber seal here. This camera records 30 minutes and then stops, and I need to make sure I noticed that, otherwise I might find myself talking without recording. I was telling about this one here. It's a bit of corrosion, nothing, there's no sign. I can see a little bit, I think this is rust, but it might be, I don't know, that's strange. I need to look. Yeah, there's on the edge, on the corner here, there's a little bit of rust. So that can make me understand that we might deal with a DC power unit here, DC power issue. But let's see. So I will take it off. I think this wasn't even right. I think this wasn't even opened. So the preview, I'm gonna look under the microscope. The preview repair shop did not open the DC power unit. No one touched this. So let's have a look. All right. When you use this disconnect points, you must be extremely careful. Extremely careful. Otherwise you risk to make some damage. Alright, so I will take this cover off. I will look under the microscope. Unfortunately, I have a camera on the microscope, but I don't have anything connected, so I cannot share with you what I'm doing. Just disconnecting this piece up here. So there was a bit of rust on this surface. As you can see, there's a bit of rust here, and on the edge here there's also, let's see if this can focus. There's a bit of sign of rust here, and also on this part here. I don't know if this was, sometimes can happen that I don't understand. There are people that they don't even use gloves. I love to use gloves just because there are two. One major reason is not to leaving my fingerprints everywhere, but in the same time, when you leave the fingerprint, you have salt and oil on your fingers, so you can rust metal if you touch it by your bare hand. So also it's kind of a protection. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I like to work with gloves. So I will look under the microscope to see if I can find anything suspicious. Okay, so no, I didn't find anything suspicious with the like giving a visual check on the power board. I didn't find anything that could trigger me to lead me into a water failure, water damage. But since I have the DC power unit replacement, I will put it and see how it goes. What are the readings? Those are quite important. What the power driver says. I'm trying to do this without putting my head close to it, just for you to see it. So the preview workshop, they didn't touch anything on the camera. They didn't touch any circuit board. They didn't took off any circuit board. Also, the main board wasn't disassembled. So let's see what it's what's the reading. All right, so I'll place my dummy battery, and hopefully we're gonna get a different reading. I had a 10 milliamps reading, 0.3, so it's identical. That can lead us to a different actually I did something wrong. I forgot to put something, but it's the same 0.3 0.03 of an amp, so 3 milliamps. I forgot to put this this little flat cable. I was too excited to go and check the camera, so these things may happen. Again, 0.1, 0.01, and we have a different reading. Yes, we have a different reading. We have a normal reading. Now we have a board. I can call it, just to understand ourselves a bit better. It's a board, a circuit board's checkup. So what I mean by that is that the camera, when you connect the battery, even the original battery, not necessarily the normal battery, not necessarily the dummy battery in my case, when you connect the battery, the camera makes a checkup. It checks the different points, electrical points in the camera. It checks, honestly I don't know exactly what it checks, but I know it checks different points on different circuit boards, which is the main board, it is the bottom board. So it's doing a checkup. If during that checkup something fails, you have either no reading, different reading. In this case it's a normal reading. And how the camera behaves, once you close the door, what I'm doing here, I'm touching the switch of the bottom battery cover, this one here, this one little switch here. So when I push on it, that went so quick. When I push on it, you get a reading of 150 milliamps, but it goes so quick. I'm just giving you an example. If I will have a stethoscope, probably the reading will be more detailed, but I don't have. So when you put power into it, basically you close the door, and you get like between 16 or 160 or 180. It might be higher than that. Let's say between 150 and 200 milliamps. It goes, makes this check, and then goes to zero. Not directly to zero, that goes to 160. Actually, this time got 160 and then zero. But in some other cases, you get 150 milliamps, then maybe 7 milliamps, and then zero, or 8 or 10 milliamps, and then zero. I will make a specific. I can make a specific, let's put it this way, because based on what was said at the beginning of the video, I can make a video. Let's put it this way: if you put subscribe, all of you that you subscribed, and put a thumbs up for this video, and you must write down on the comment section below, like, okay, subscribed or liked, and then saying I want the video of explaining how do you read when you connect the dummy battery to the camera. If you do this, I probably, no, I'm joking, I will, but it must be a high amount of number, otherwise I will not do it. As I said, I need your contribution, so I don't think I'm asking too much. All right, so I have the right power. That what the my power bank says, that at this point the camera, it might work. You have the right power. Why this one failed, I don't know. One thing I know for sure, that these power boards are not as they were before. They got really small. The components got reduced drastically, and they got smaller and smaller, and everything they got the power is driven mostly by one or two chips, mostly by one chip, microchip. It's a buck converter, so this converts all kind of power that the camera needs. So this chip, this little chip, mostly holds the power for the entire camera, for the whole camera. There might be some reasons on what this may fail. Maybe we got some water, because we got a little bit of, there's no trace. I got a little bit of trace of water on the top, but it might be that the water got filtered in some point. I couldn't find any, even if I looked at it, I couldn't find any. But you never know. Or maybe humidity also, it's a factor. Or maybe just failed because of the way the intensity of the, no, this camera has 80 less than 1K, less than 900 actuations. But it might be something wrong from the manufacturing. It might be got a drop of water, which obviously that's not the camera doesn't like it. The electronics don't like to get wet, this for sure. But let's see. Now I can put the top. Let me do something, because I don't want to share any kind of information, personal information of the owner. I will cancel this on the other video, the other part of the video. So at this point, I'm just gonna connect. I will try to connect everything, not all of it, but most of it. Alright, connecting the back. Make sure when you're about to do this, if you do your check with your battery, let's say, I don't know, by adding the battery, you're not gonna see anything. But let's assume you want to avoid spending time of putting back everything. You reach this point, you put the battery in, because if I put the battery in now, I might get some reading. Let me show you. If I use, now I can put directly the battery, because I know there is that it's can be safe. And if you close it on the top, you might get something. Nothing this time. Maybe the battery is completely empty. I'll do again. I will use my dummy battery. this is the best way to do things, not the way I just did it. There's a reading, small reading, and then gets off. And I have a battery sign here, and this is due to the fact that I'm using a dummy battery, and the camera recognizes it, and it says something like, you're using a non-original battery. You agree to turn on this camera by using this battery. You will see it. I want to make sure I put the connector. I need to feel when I put things back, I need to feel that are properly inserted or properly reassembled. Alright, so I'll also put here a few screws. When I close the door, I get the reading. And it works perfect. Alright, moment of the truth. Or moment of the truth. Sometimes it's hard for me to express. Just say the words. Alright. Cannot communicate with battery. Use this battery. In the past, I think they were putting like this battery is not genuine, blah blah. Okay, so this is normal. What is happening? We don't have the battery, the memory battery inside. So this is normal. I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna go for OK. And now what I need to understand also now what is going on. So I have the camera mode. I need to understand the reading now, from now on, because I have power to the camera, but also I need to understand what's the consumption when the camera is just powered on. So at the moment, because the camera is still it's on, and the light meter it's in function, I have 0.05, so 5 milliamps. But if I push on the button, just by pushing on the button, I get 160, between 100 and 160 milliamps. So this communicates a lot, sends a lot of messages just by reading the consumption of the camera. And also when I touch buttons, again, it makes like a wake up. The camera always try to reduce the consumption as much as possible. So when you're not working now, it's like the standby, but still the camera use some of its function. I got a message, strange message. This is not normal. It says battery low. This is not normal. I will take it off. This is what probably the owner was mentioning. So probably we are dealing with some other issue here. I'll put it back. I get the normal reading. Actually, it's not a normal reading. It's a random reading. It's a strange way to get read. Error 00. All right, error 00. Error 00. Since I don't have anything connected. Error 00. I'm not gonna continue to force by sending any power to the camera, because if it's something wrong with the main board, it can damage the good DC power unit. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm gonna do next, there's something that probably I never shared on the channel. I will do a step to make sure all the components are, all other components are working. So this camera is composed by more components. Like I will open it and I will explain it better. I want to make sure that reading doesn't go the way it was going. So I got a strange reading. It was like 160 milliamps, then it got to 100 milliamps, and then it got to 0.05 milliamps, 0.05 amps, 0.05, so 5 milliamps, and we got the message battery issue. That battery issue, it might be related with something goes wrong. It might be the case that something can be a power, how do we call it? A power leakage. It might be a power leakage, or it might be something wrong. The way the camera communicates with the rest of the camera, it might be wrong. So the way I like, from this point, what I like to do is to consider disconnecting other components of it might be the bottom. Before I get to the conclusion of the main board being damaged, I like to disconnect other points. So when I'm saying that, other points, it's, for example, I can disconnect the viewfinder. This is the viewfinder, the viewfinder power, the viewfinder screen, the viewfinder information that you can see, the information you can see in the viewfinder. I will disconnect it, and I'll disconnect absolutely everything. There's another this flat here. Before I disconnect that flat, I want to take this off. This will be hard to take it off, but maybe if I do it in a different way, maybe I will be able to save it, because I don't want to put my damage this tape. This is a special tape. Each and every time when you disassemble camera or cameras, you must be cautious, very cautious. For example, there's a bit of fingerprints here. I don't know if you can see it. That's one of the reasons I use gloves. I don't like this. I hate this, basically. But hey. So I'm disconnecting this point. I'm just taking to save this tape, and I think it does. I said doesn't look like, but most likely someone did something on the camera. So next step, I'm disconnecting a few points. This is the focusing system, focusing assembly. This one here is the oops, there's something here. There's some trace of something here. So this one here is the the dust cleaning system on this camera. So dust cleaning, for those that don't know, on the image sensor there is a piece of glass. That piece of glass that piece of glass it creates has an ultrasonic so that makes an ultrasonic vibration, and because of that ultrasonic vibration, all the dust, the potential dust that goes on the image sensor, it will fall off because of the vibration. And what I found here, I can see there is some trace of something on the connector. So before I get to any conclusion, I could say, by the way, this camera has two two power units. One was the one I put it on the top, and the second one is this one. So this one communicates with the, as you can see, with the main board. So part of the top board connects with the second part, and this one communicates with the main board. But I found this is interesting because I found something on this connector. Let's see if the camera focus. There is some trace of something. Usually they are clean, but there is some trace of, I don't know if that's corrosion, water. So I need to understand what's happening. All right, so I disconnected this point. This is the focusing system. This is the ultrasonic cleaner of the sensor. This is the top. What's the name? I said it before. I get distracted because I get some messages on my phone. This is the viewfinder connector that you can see all the information inside the connector. And what else do we have that we could potentially disconnect? I think I will stop there, but I will take this. This is connects with the DC with the bottom circuit board. But if I will disconnect it, probably the camera will not work. And I'm trying to look at these points here. I will look under the microscope to understand a bit better what's on this connector here. Right, so I checked all the connections. I didn't find any other damage on the connectors, on the flats. The only one it looks is the one I mentioned earlier. But let's see. This is looking great. So now I disconnected a few other points. This one I need to put them back. But here this is for the image sensor. Connect the connectors of the image sensor. So I took them off. Before I start changing components, I want to give it a try to see how the camera behaves. Even if we got, for a short time, we got some power to the camera, but then that changed to a different behavior of showing the message of battery issue. Right, so I'll keep this as it is. I will put the power, I will connect the top. Put the door. This is where the hard part starts. When you're dealing with something more complex, you need to connect the dots, start understanding what might be wrong with it, and it's an investigation. So when I put power, I got 16 milliamps, 160 milliamps, and then 0. And if I turn it on, I get the same thing, which is good. I accepted it. Let's see if we get rid of 0. Yeah, we still have the battery issue, which initially we didn't have it. I'll try again. I'm trying to understand if I can. Probably this one are not working just because are not connected. But if I push on here, No, nothing happens, just because we get a message of battery issue. This might be related with the second power unit. Even if initially we got some power, maybe we because of the fail, the damage on the whatever it is, it happens in the camera, we might have damaged the good DC power board. So this point I can give it a try to change the second power unit, which is this one here. This is, by the way, is connected. This power unit has also the memory card reader on it. Let me see if I can do it differently now. I will do it this way. Alright. And this one here, I'll have a look under the microscope and then I will change it anyway. I will change it. Okay, so I couldn't find anything suspicious on that on the second power board. I will just, oh yeah, okay, I will just change it and see if there is any improvement, just because I have it. I know for those who don't have replacements, it might be tricky to fix these cameras. Usually, if you think that Canon makes it different, you're wrong. Canon, when there's an issue, a major issue like this, they will not start checking anything. They will replace the whole thing, motherboard and power unit, and then that's the way they fix it. And in our case, in my case, and many of you, when you need to figure out what can be wrong with the camera, you need to just doing different checks. Since the manufacturers, they don't share any kind of electrical diagrams, is it extremely hard for us to debug the issue. So I found the easiest way to fix it is by replacing components. In some occasions I do fix the components. Now I could go and check the fuses on the DC power unit, but obviously I don't want to spend any extra time. So instead of doing so, I'm just replacing the whole thing. So since I have it, because otherwise you will spend so much time on trying to understand what might be the cause, the issue, and instead of just doing the way I'm doing it, just by replacing the whole thing. Whoa, that was something strange. That was something strange. This is not normal, but at least the camera behaves differently. I will turn off the power because I want to. This is not normal. Obviously, I want to connect more things. I don't know if you just hear that. The camera had a ultrasound cleaning. Probably this is this one is the sound cleaning, the image ultrasound cleaning. This one, it might be something else. That's why probably it was behaving. This is for sure the focusing system, but this one, it might be something else. Which I don't remember now. But that sound ultrasonic, that cleaning sound system means that the camera is doing the whole checkup. When you turn on, and maybe when you turn off, not all the time, it's doing the cleaning of the image sensor. So I will turn this off. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not taking out the battery anymore. I'm just disconnecting directly from the power bank. Quick reading. Turning on. Cannot communicate with this battery, which is okay. We've lost the communication before with the motherboard. We were just getting the message on the top of the screen. Okay, that's good. I get this data and clock setup. I don't need. I would put okay. I have 100 milliamps, and then now the camera goes to 5 milliamps. I want to see if the menu works, which is working. Before wasn't working. I was trying to push on the menu, and before I do anything like shooting and see the any image on the camera, I want to make sure everything else works properly. So buttons, if I push the start button, how the camera reacts. I have 100 milliamps now. I think I was giving wrong numbers with the consumption. It's quite a while I'm not using the power unit. Like I'm using the power unit, but I'm not trying to explain what's happening. All right, so camera tries to go in standby, which is not going in standby yet. We have the top screen, it's okay. I'm trying to see if the camera will eventually go in standby, like if we'll go on zero consumption. So it's like 50 milliamps. So 0.0, so 0.05 is 50 milliamps. 0.05 or 0.01, it's 10 milliamps. I think I say, yeah, it's 50 milliamps. Now it's consuming 50 milliamps, which is 0.05 of an amp. It's bouncing between 5 and 6, but it's okay. And now it's completely in standby. If it's not dead, it's dead. Now it's dead. Yeah, and again we have the battery message. I'll turn it off. This is not good at all. So at this point, we might deal with the issue of the image of the motherboard. I will take a shot. It's normal. So it looks like the camera takes shots. This is white because we have completely exposure to the light. I took off the cap. No, it's not good. No, this is not good. I don't know if you noticed, probably that got recorded, and I can show you that. We got, while we were taking a picture, we got a line here, a purple line here. That can tell me there is something wrong either with the image sensor or the motherboard. Let's see. So when I take pictures, let me put on live view and see how it's going, how it's performing. Obviously, and this is just exposure to light, and it's doing okay. It's a bit high, to be honest, 760 milliamps. But now the camera uses the image sensor, uses the shutter, it's on open position. So we use lots of the mirror, it's in up position. So it's using plenty of power. I don't understand why before just completely shut down. So let's continue. At least now we have way more let's say normal behavior of the camera than what we experienced before. One thing I noticed, when the camera needs to go in standby, it doesn't go to 0. So it just disappeared and it says a low battery. And we need to understand why that happens. Obviously, this is the behavior that the owner was mentioning, was explaining. I will turn off the power and turn it on and see what's happening. If you turn on the power again, menu, the menu works fine. I will try to reset. Let me see if I can reset sensor cleaning button. I will push the sensor cleaning, and just to see, actually I'll go, this is the electronic cleaning. And you could hear mechanical movement, and also manually I want to make sure the shutter is completely up and everything is exposed, which is okay. That's the message of the battery. Right, so I have one thing that I need to replace at this point. I still don't want to replace the motherboard, because I kind of it's strange. The behavior is strange, so I don't want to yet. I don't want to replace the motherboard. What I want to do, I want to use to put the third board, which is the bottom board. But once I figure out what's the issue, so once the camera stops behaving the way it behaves now, I can start investigating and to understand which part, due to what part is the camera behaving in this way. So it might be also the bottom board. The bottom board, the bottom board weakness is because it's exposed, is the closest to the bottom side, the bottom cover, and the bottom cover doesn't have a it's not water sealed. As I said about this camera, it's not water sealed. So what it may happen, this bottom side is the one that can potentially have contact with water. The most likely, around when you just, I'm trying to formulate the way what I'm about to explain. So when you put your camera down, and you maybe in some occasions you need to put the camera down and take pictures. If the bottom is wet, that's the first contact I can get with the camera. The camera electronic internal components. So I also, because the way it behaves is quite strange, so I will also change this one and see, because I have it. This is not an easy fix. This is a very complex fix, and most of the time I get involved in these situations. But because I like this, I like to understand what's going on, what's the cause of this failure. So I will take next. I will open up here and take this look at this point. All right, so as I was saying, so this one is memory. As you can see, this is the battery memory, data memory connector. This one is for the focusing system. It happened to me in the past to find that the camera was behaving really strange, and due to the focusing system, I had to disconnect the focusing system. Actually, I'm gonna do it again, just to make sure. This little ball here is very small. On other versions there are way more components than here. Right, I'll have a look under the microscope. Okay, so I will disconnect this, even if I don't think it's the case. At this point, I start thinking that it really is the case of faulty motherboard. Right, so the reason I have a full camera is just because the easiest way for me is to fix cameras is to have replacements. And once I found what's the issue with it, I will order the right part. Or either I can put this and then I will order it to have it back to my stock, just to have it ready to do an easy way to fix. This is an easy way to fix cameras, just to have stock of parts. It is not cheap, because you have to have each camera for each model. You have almost an entire camera for each model. But since I'm using this like it's just a passion I have, for me it's okay. I collected plenty of models during with the time, and I also had mostly I got faulty cameras, which I fixed them, and most of the time. So when the camera dies, and like in this in this case the camera dies and it doesn't have any kind of sign, the camera is new and doesn't give any sign, doesn't have any sign of water damage or impact damage or humidity or whatever, it doesn't have any sign of, there are no signs of those factors, it's extremely hard to figure it out what might be the issue. Most of the time when a camera get damaged is because it get into contact with water and fall off and had a major impact and some components get damaged, and you know what are the components that you might, most of the time you can understand what are the components that are getting faulty or damaged. And also with water, you know where the water where the water traveled, so you might understand what parts needs to be replaced or what parts to look at to fix them. But when in this case the camera just behaving as we saw, like all suddenly he makes all kind of strange behaviors, that's a hard one to fix, to understand. And I don't want to go directly to the changing the motherboard, because if I change the motherboard, I don't know if it's the motherboard, and then if I change the motherboard and then there's an issue with the power boards, I might damage the good motherboard, which I obviously don't want. So yeah, it's tricky. All right, so I put these connections back, and now I will put the the back. All right, let's put the power in and let's see what is going on. No more reading. I got to 0. Power on. I didn't got the camera didn't ask me for the battery, which is strange. Got directly to the if I push the menu, it doesn't work, and we have the message again. This is not good. This shows, at this point, it shows we are dealing with a damaged motherboard. Alright. Did this was a waste of time? No, absolutely no. At this point, I know for sure that the camera deals with has a faulty motherboard. I want to make sure all the connections are okay. Maybe the camera doesn't want to work if this is not connected. Let's see. Strange the fact that we didn't got the message of the battery. Now we get the communication message. We have the date. It's okay. Yeah, definitely the camera behaves strange. Let's see. So it takes the pictures. And that's light leakage, by the way. So if I put this, no, we got the message again. There's nothing we can do on this one. I could do some checks on the motherboard, but I will not do it this time. I will replace the motherboard. I will also put all the original boards back and see how the camera behaves. Okay, so this is the other motherboard, the good motherboard. When you're about to connect these flats, you must be very careful, very cautious, because it's so easy to damage them. It's extremely easy to damage them. We might have some problem with the. I should have focused a bit more on the image sensor. Might be some issues over there as well, but let's see, because since we replaced everything, if the camera behaves, we still have issue, which honestly I will be happy to from one point of view, I will be happy for that to happen, because I know in that case it can tell me there is no issue with the motherboard, there's some other issue coming from somewhere else. But let's see. Alright, so I should have connected everything, not everything, there I still have these points. It's 10 milliamps consumption, 150 milliamps normal goes to 0. So let's see now, when we powering up, this is not good. We should have had the question for the battery. No, we have the same issue, the same identical issue. At this point, since I tried the other boards, we don't know if it's related with the motherboard or with the power boards, but it's very, very strange. We have some other boards somewhere here, so honestly I'm quite glad that this happened. I need to understand more. Now we don't get anything. Yeah, it's a very strange behavior. I should have get the message for battery, which obviously doesn't happen. The camera freeze, just freeze, and we get the message. Alright, so at this point I will stop here with this video, and I'll try to figure out what might be the cause, what is creating this issue. Obviously it looks like it is something else, because we changed everything basically. We changed all the motherboard, all the power boards to from a different with all the power boards, new fully working power board. So obviously the camera is behaving strange. So we need to understand what is the cause. If it's I don't think at this point it's related with the motherboard, because I have also replaced the motherboard. Rather there is something else that that creates this issue. So when I connect it now, because I disconnect no, that's something, definitely something is wrong, and I will need to dig in a bit more. So I will stop it here. Probably I'm not going to make too two parts. Probably this will be one part. I need to decide. Depends on how long is the second part, and I will try to understand what is the cause, what happens, what is happening here, what it creates this behavior with the camera. There's some potential cause here, which if the old motherboard, it has some damage on it, and also it might have create damage to the power boards. If this creates damage to the power boards, we might deal with some now at this point we might deal with some damaged power boards, because we use the power boards we use with this we tested with this motherboard. But the one things that doesn't make me think is related with is that the owner said the camera initially started to turn on and off and more frequently, and then the camera completely turned off. One thing that we did, well, it might be the case, we replaced the power boards, the whole set of power boards, the whole set of circuit boards, and we got power, but the camera was behaving strange. So I will try to dig in a bit more on this on the next video, but now I need to close I need to stop because I have to deal with other things.